This is Joe Pryor with the virtualrealestateteam.com, and I wanted to do another video for our media class that I taught in Edmond. Now, as I said before, 3 hours is just, good gosh, I mean, trying to cover the whole scope of internet marketing is just virtually impossible, and so what you leave out is probably as important as what you put in. And I did a video for you on Facebook, and I have one prepared on Twitter, but you know, I just been through two 2-hour webinars on Facebook and another one coming at 6 hours total. And you know, something that's covering Facebook, but you could even spend 8 or 12 hours on it. So I really felt like I needed to get back into Facebook, as well as because of some recent developments that I've seen on things that we can do on Facebook business pages, which I think really changes the way that we look at Facebook. Now, you know, what I taught in the class, what I talked about in the class was, you know, Facebook is a big place. I mean, there's 600 million people there approximately, 1 out of 13 people on the planet, and the reason why we're there is because that's where the people are. But for me, Facebook has not been a great site for instant gratification in terms of finding clients. That's been Google for me, and I explained that in the class and talked about some anecdotal information that showed why it was very, very strong. And so, you know, Facebook, I think, has been a really good farming place. In other words, it's a place to get yourself out there, a place to become a personality, to get known, for people to get comfortable with you, to expand a database effortlessly in ways that you couldn't or maybe had to pay for in other ways. So Facebook, in that particular respect, was something where I said, okay, let's build up our numbers. Let's see if we can get them to the business page, and then let's get them out of Facebook into Google. Let's get them into our web page, and the reason why is we could capture them there. We had our calls to action that we talked about. We had our IDX solution. We had our blogs. We had our video. We had our economic information. We had our community information. We had our listings. All sorts of ways that we could do lead capture with forms. And this was something that really, up until recently, you couldn't do with Facebook. But now there are some applications that have come out that shows me that everything that I can do on Google and on my website, I can now do on Facebook. And I kind of had a shift a little bit in how I think about Facebook versus Google. And it's simply this. I look at them as two virtual worlds. Think about this for a minute. Most of the people that you know on Facebook that you're quote-unquote friends with are people that you've never met. And so it is, in that way, virtual. And it really got me thinking about an application that came out years ago that I thought was pretty cool at first. I didn't really get that much into it, but it was a totally created application, virtual world called Second Life. And in Second Life, what you did was you created an avatar. This was my first experience in terms of creating an avatar, and this was some way of representing yourself in a fantasy way, like a cartoonish way, and you would even choose a name for yourself. Now, I happen to be a fan of The Usual Suspects, so I was Kaiser Sose. I mean, it is a fantasy world for all that, you know, for what that matters. But it was a complete world, and it even had its own currency called Linden dollars, and you could buy and sell goods and services. And so I could travel, I could meet people, I could have a virtual family, a virtual life, I could live this parallel universe. And even to the extent that some people were monetizing this, they were buying and selling properties on eBay. I've heard about people making six-figure incomes selling virtual property. In fact, one enterprising person who was a developer down in Florida mimicked the real development that he had on the waterfront, a mixed-use development, and did it on Facebook, or excuse me, on Second Life, and was selling it there. So, you know, I started thinking about, you know, 600 million people, probably eventually getting to 1 billion people, which is conceivable, and I started thinking about Facebook in the way that I thought about Second Life. Here we have a self-contained universe. Now, the way that I'm presenting this, I'm sorry to say, means a little bit more work for us. Because in the past, I could say, well, you know, be personal and be social on Facebook, which I believe is still important, but really do the hunting and have the people hunt you on Google. But now I'm looking at them as two virtual worlds in two very, very different ways. because I can have the calls to action now on my business page. Everything that I have in my business page, in fact, what I do is going to be just like my website. And so now I'm thinking of this as a self-contained world. Now let's start with your personal page. Now, I happen to still think that it's a waste of your energy to try to promote listings here. In fact, I don't believe it's a good idea. So, it's the world according to Joe. Do whatever you want to do, and if you're successful at it, then great. I mean, stick with anything that works. I don't think it does. And in fact, if you look at Facebook's rules, it is actually a violation of their rules. But I want to think of it in a different way. I want you to think of trying to promote listings as something that lacks engagement. I mean, the way that we build up friends on Facebook is to be engaging, is to be provocative. Now, does that mean I can't talk about real estate? Absolutely not. I think information that is topical, that is informational, that is up to date, that helps people, is really, really good information to bring out there. And it's a way of saying, look, I want to bring you benefits of real estate. I don't want to cram real estate down your throat. And when you're ready, I'm the guy that knows everything. So, for instance, there was a report about a week ago that had the amount of underwater mortgages that were in the United States, and Oklahoma, again, had the lowest amount of mortgages that were underwater of any place in the United States at 5.8%, whereas Nevada was leading the league at 67%. And I thought this was an important thing to share with people. In fact, I got feedback saying, this really makes me feel good. So I've done a good thing, and I've shared real estate. Now, that's not the only thing you do in terms of being social. And at this point, when you do get those people commenting, as I said before, it goes on your friend streams, and then it goes on their friend streams, and now I don't have to ask for friends. I'm getting 1 to 4 people about every day asking to be my friend because of how I'm virally spreading on Facebook. Now, another thing I want you to think about in terms of getting people to your business page is if you promote listings, I want you to think of it in 2 ways. Most of the people, as I said in the class, are not ready to buy real estate at any given moment. In fact, 90% are not. So are we really getting the permission of these people to give them our listings and tell them how great these things are? Maybe they happen to be in Norman, Oklahoma, and they like $300,000 houses, and you're talking about $150,000. But also think of it this way. Think of it like television advertising. Now, I have a DVR. I think everybody at this point has a DVR. I don't watch that much television in terms of shows or sitcoms or things like that, but I do watch the USA character-driven shows, like White Collar or like Royal Pains or The Good Wife. But I never watch them in real time. And the reason why I don't is I want the story, I want the narrative, and the commercials interrupt me, and I don't like Cheetos, and I don't want to buy a Toyota at this moment or a Volvo, and it interrupts me, so everybody's just going right through these things. And they're going to do the same thing to you on Facebook. They're going to look at it as spam, like ads. They're not going to want that. And let me tell you another example. You remember those calls you get from time to time where somebody says, "Hey, Joe, how you doing? This is Robert." And you're going, "Robert who? I don't know who this Robert is." "Yeah, you remember me, Robert. We were talking about your website the other day, and I was telling you how incredible it was." Well, thanks, Robert. I really appreciate that. The thing I don't understand is how you're not at the top of Google. Click. And I'm going, why did this person waste my time? They're trying to sell me something. Topeka, as George of the Jungle would say. That's the way that they look at it. But if you're beneficial, if you give them information, if you give them someone that is in the know, then that can be valuable information to them. And then at that point, you can do the crossover. Like I say, you make everybody into a database. You send them an invitation to your business page, and that gives you permission to let them look at your listings. But at this point, here's what's really different now from the way it used to be a year ago on Facebook. I can do incredible customization on Facebook now. Now, when this video goes to you, I'm also going to give Harriet, who's going to send this out, some new websites for you to go to that allow you to personalize your business page. For one thing, we talked about branding. Well, this is going to allow you to brand. You know how you can really do some cool things with pictures. I'll show you one where not only do you have pictures, but it kind of goes down into a video where when people click on your business page, you get a little 1 minute like, "Hi, this is Joe Pryor. Welcome here. Let me tell you what these tabs up here mean." Now, not only that, but besides branding, I can now put my listings on there. We talked about Ruth's social media toolkit or using the Real Bird application, and now they can go to my listings, so the listings are now there. But even more importantly than that, I can use the Altos research. I can also upload my videos and my blogs just like I do on my regular website that is on Google. Now, what's even more important now is that I can also start putting IDX solutions, and this is huge, guys. This is the game changer, is the IDX. I'm working right now with Oakmar to get this one company approved for us, and when I do, then you will have someone that has created an application that works on Facebook for the first time to do the Oklahoma City MLS, and so now people can look at your listings, and I believe more people are going to follow suit on that. And just like I talked about using Google Pay-Per-Click or Google AdWords, which I do use, you can also use Facebook in the same way by using their advertising campaign for various things. So this is what is really, I believe, changed about Facebook. It is a big world that's getting bigger, or if I want to be grammatically incorrect, huger, but it kind of speaks to me when I say that. But it also is a world that I think we can start looking at as not just a farming exercise because of everything that we can do on our website. And here's the thing that I think is really big about this also as a game changer. If we think about our website on Google, it can be fairly dry. I mean, we can blog, we can put our personality on there, but our websites really don't have the social content that Facebook does. So now, not only can I do everything on Facebook that I do on my website on Google, I can now do even more with the social component. Now I'm going to do one more video coming up on Facebook because there's another thing that I can do, which is create some different kinds of business pages. I want to talk to you about like my OKC breaking news, where I have a lot of people following news feeds, or like doing a couponing system, or 365 things to do, or a lot of things to do in Edmond, Oklahoma, where we can be very community oriented, where we can be very beneficial to people, and how that can work, and also getting people to your real estate business page. So for now, what I want to say is Facebook is changing, and it's changing rapidly, and it's going to keep changing. Yeah, maybe it's not as sophisticated as some of the cool things that I can do on a WordPress blog platform or on a really good website. But I tell you what, sometimes sophistication doesn't work, and the message is what really counts. Sometimes we can outthink ourselves. So start thinking of Facebook as a separate marketing entity. Find ways, possibly like with the Real Bird, where you can enter in things and it automatically goes to Facebook, because I know I'm asking you to spend a little bit more time with it. But I think with these new applications, and with this new ideas about what Facebook is now becoming for us as realtors and for business, then I think it's something where we've got to just do a few things different. And it's an exciting future. Despite the fact that there's 600 million people there, remember this, 1% of the realtors out there are doing video, 10% are doing blogs, and I'd almost say, back to that 1% or less, realtors are not using Facebook correctly. So, you're on the ground floor. Go for it.